Hello, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm making an outdoor decoration, so I needed something that would withstand the weather. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be using some of these plastic drinking straws, and I'm making a sakura branch. So I'm cutting my pieces, my straw, into 4 centimeters, and you need 5 pieces per flower. So one flower takes a whole straw, so just cut 5 pieces by 4 centimeters. I'm using the one straw as a template so that they're all the same. So once you've got your 5 pieces, what I'm doing is I'm squashing it quite flat, and from the bottom I'm going up by 1 centimeter. And then you're going to cut. I'm using a pair of small nail scissors so that I can get a nice cut. So you're going to cut along here, but don't go all the way through. So just to 2 millimeters or 1 millimeter from the end. And then on this side, we're just going to shape it so that it goes round. So you've got a little piece cut out like that. And now I'm flipping it over, so I've got the cut out section on my right hand side, and then I'm just going to curve the top part like that, and then split the middle. So when you open it out, you've got your petal. Now just take a pair of scissors or something flat and just curl the petal. So your petal looks like that. And just do all of them the same. Once you've got your petals all done, now it's time to put them together. So for the first one, you want to keep this piece solid. So the next one, we're just going to cut the bottom piece just up the center. Same with the next one. And for the last two, squash it closed like that so that you can cut this section off to reduce the size of the straw so that we can squeeze that in. And the same with the last one. So just squash it closed and take that piece off. Right, now we're ready to put it all together. So taking the solid piece, so now the first one you're going to take off just a tiny bit, like a little tiny triangle, so that it gives you the depth for the rest of them to be threaded through. So now just start threading your flower petals in. So once you've got all the petals in, it's now time to make the stamen. So I'm using a yellow straw for this one, and what I'm going to do is, it's easy to just hold it in your hand and then just start cutting very, very, very fine little tiny slits in it and rotating this straw as you're going. So you're just moving it slightly like that. So just cutting. So your straw is like that. Lots of fine little pieces. Now I'm cutting off, I'm going to be cutting it at 3 centimeters. So I'm cutting 3 centimeters off these. and then just split the straw in half. And turn it over so that you've got the cut section towards you, and then just hold it tight, and then just take a pair of scissors and curl the end pieces, not too much. So I'm going to be using these for all the flowers, and then all I want to do is roll it up so that it's a circle or it's closed, so it is like that, like it looks like a little tiny palm tree. So there's one of the cherry blossoms. Now this particular one I've got 5 petals on it, so some of them are going to have 4 petals, 3 petals and 2 petals, and then for the buds they'll just be 1 at the top, because the cherry blossom seems to drop quite a lot of petals, so you can have a variety of different size petals or blooms. And for the other flowers I'm using a pink plastic shopping bag, and I'm cutting them. So some of the flowers are going to be by 5 centimeters by 5 centimeters, and I'm doing different sizes, so you can do 4 centimeters by 4 centimeters. So I'm cutting out a strip of 4 centimeters. And then I'm just splitting the bag, and now I'm cutting out pieces 4 centimeters. So I'm just going to cut the whole strip out of 4 centimeters. So I've cut out a whole row of 4 centimeters, which gives me about 40 of them. And all you have to do now for these is just take it, fold it in half, and then half again. And the corner as well. So you've got like a little triangular piece. It just makes it easier to cut. This is very delicate paper to work with because it's a bit slippery. And then just cut your little petal out and cut the tip off. So when you open it out, your petal looks like that. For some of the flowers I'm leaving them by keeping the double piece together, and the other ones are going to be the single ones. So you'll see there's quite a difference in the color when you look at them. So that's the double with the 2 pieces together, and this one is the single, so you get quite a nice contrast of the 2 colors. And now you take one of the straws and thread it through the center. And there's the pink one. For the 5 by 5, take your piece and fold it along the cross, and then to make like little dog ears, and then just cut that out. You can use a template to do this, I'm just eyeballing it. Don't forget to cut the wee piece at the bottom, just a tiny piece so you don't have too much of a big hole. And then you've got your petals that look like that. And then just make as many as you want. For the top single bud, what I'm doing is I've got these expanding straws, so I'm just going to pull that part out so that when it turns over, you've got the round little bud that you can use for your single bud. And then cutting the tip off. So you've got your little piece like that. And I'm taking some of this 24 gauge jewelry wire and just bending, so making like a hook at the end, and then thread that through. So I'm using 9 centimeters of jewelry wire for this. And then just center it. I've got this green floristry tape. It doesn't really matter which side that you actually use because it's not really sticky as such. It's a little bit tacky, but it's not sticky. And I'm using about 13 centimeters of the floristry tape. So just tearing a piece off and then place the floristry tape in the middle of your little piece like that, and then close this straw as tight as you can get it, and then just tie the wires together. It doesn't matter which side you use, just take one of the sides and wrap it around the straw. And then down the shaft of the wire. And the same with the other side. And there we have our little cherry blossom bud. So there's some of the buds that I've done so far. I've just been into the garden and collected some twigs and I've put them together. So what I've done is I've taken 2 branches and I've just taped it with some masking tape, and then I'm going to paint it. And on this particular branch, as you can see, it's got rather nice little nodules on it on some of the twigs, which I'm going to take advantage of that, and I'm going to be painting those to look like some of the cherry blossom buds. So I'm going to be painting those in pink. To paint the buds, I'm using fluoro pink and white, and then I'm going to mix them together to give me a similar color to my little buds, which is that color, so they match quite well. And now I'm just going to paint my little buds. So and then I'll paint the bottoms of them with green. I've painted all my little nodules in the pink. It's very difficult to get a good picture for you, but it does make a wee bit of a difference to a degree. And now I'm going to just wait for that to dry before I put the green on. So for the green that I'm going to be painting, I'm using burnt umber, white, mid green and cadmium yellow, and I'm mixing it together. So I've just got a little tiny bit of each of them. I'm mixing them together to give me pretty much the same color as what my little buds are. So that's the color that I'm going to be painting at the bottom of my, just a very, very subtle tiny bit, not a lot. And then I'm just going to do that to all of them. I'm also just going to match the color of my masking tape to the color of the branches. As you can see, my branches are a few different colors. So what I've done is I've taken burnt umber, raw umber, yellow, and I've started painting it, and then I'll match the colors so that they're a little bit closer to what these ones actually look like. So I finished painting my little piece of stick, and as you can see, it's very, very similar in colour. I've got all my pink straw flowers ready to be glued on, and I've got them all in the different sizes. Now, it's preferable for you to use a low temperature glue gun. However, I've got a hot temperature glue gun, so I'm going to be gluing directly to the branches. I'm waiting for that to cool down a wee bit before I stick the flowers on. For some of the buds, I've taped 3 of them together, and then I'm going to place them onto the tree, and I'm going to tape them down after I've glued them with the floristry tape. I've placed all my pink straw ones on, and now what I'm doing is I'm placing some of the paper ones on, the plastic ones that we just made, and on each place that I'm putting that's the straw, that's the double flower, and then I'm going to be placing one of the single pieces of plastic bag over there, so each blossom will have the 3 different colour flowers on them. I've placed all the extra double thickness flowers on all over my branch, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to be placing the single ones, which is this one is a single, these are the doubles, that's the straw, so you can see the variety of colours. I've placed all the extra single ones on and the buds as well, so in total I've got 180 flowers on there and 60 of the little buds. At the moment I've got 180 flowers on there and 60 of the little buds, and now I'm going to be adding the extra flowers because I think it still looks a little bit bare. I've added all the extra flowers, and to make it up so that it looks a little bit fuller, I've actually put a total of 300 flowers on here now and 60 of the little buds. And now my little cherry blossom branch is complete. So that's what it looks like I used the same materials and method for the cherry blossom tree that I used in my miniature Japanese Zen garden that I made. So this small little ugly section at the top here is where I'm going to be putting my sakura or cherry blossom branch. I've placed it in my little ugly spot and now it looks a little bit nicer. So this is just my outside area where I've got my spa. If you found this video helpful or you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. Really appreciate it if you would subscribe. Thank you so much for watching.